Have you ever seen someone underestimated, mocked, or laughed at, only for one small gesture to silence the entire room? This story will take you inside a high school bathroom where three boys thought they had found the perfect target: a quiet girl, shy and reserved, someone they believed was too weak to fight back. But what happened when she rolled up her sleeve changed everything. They didn't just see a mark, they saw a past filled with courage, survival, and a strength they could never imagine. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll realize why appearances deceive, and why true strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just leaves a mark. The afternoon bell had just rung, and the school hallways were crowded with the sound of chatter, sneakers squeaking, and lockers slamming shut. Among the chaos, Emily walked quietly with her head down, clutching her books tightly against her chest. She was new, just 3 weeks into this school, and though she was polite and gentle, her silence made her an easy target. Emily wasn't the kind of girl who stood out. Her clothes were simple, her hair usually tied back, and she barely raised her hand in class. What no one saw was the weight she carried inside, the silent memories that shaped her, the experiences that had already made her far older than her 17 years. That day, as she slipped into the girls' bathroom between classes, hoping for a moment of peace, she didn't know that trouble had followed. The door creaked, and in walked 3 boys, Jake, Ryan, and Cole, known for their cocky smirks and loud laughter. They weren't supposed to be in there, but rules never stopped them. The bathroom echoed with their voices as they blocked the doorway. Well, look who's hiding again," Jake sneered, crossing his arms. "Quiet, little Emily. You don't say a word in class, do you? What's wrong? Cat got your tongue?" Ryan leaned against the sink, mocking her posture. "Maybe she thinks she's too good to talk to us." Cole laughed, tossing a paper towel toward her. "Or maybe she's just weak. Look at her, skinny arms, scared eyes. She wouldn't last a second in a fight." Emily's heart raced, but she stood still. She had dealt with bullies before. Their voices reminded her of nights she wished to forget. Nights when survival wasn't just about ignoring laughter, but about staying alive in places far from the safety of a school hallway. She tried to leave, but Jake stepped in front of her. "What's the rush? We're just talking." For the first time, Emily lifted her eyes. There was no anger in them, no fear, just a quiet strength that unsettled them more than they realized. She whispered, "You don't know me." Her calmness irritated them. Ryan scoffed, "And what are you going to do about it, huh? Call a teacher?" That's when Emily exhaled slowly, set her books down on the counter, and rolled up her sleeve. At first, the boys chuckled, expecting nothing impressive. But then their laughter stopped. On her arm, just above the elbow, was a mark. A faded but clear insignia burned into her skin. The Ranger mark. Jake's smirk vanished. His eyes widened and his voice cracked. "Wait, is that?" Emily's sleeve revealed not just a symbol, but a story written in silence. Proof of survival, belonging, and a life most of them couldn't even comprehend. The bathroom grew colder, their confidence gone, as if the very air shifted. They had mocked her without knowing the truth. And now, standing in that silence, Emily finally spoke words that froze them in place. "You think I'm weak?" Emily's voice was steady now, cutting through the thick silence. She touched the mark on her arm gently, not as a boast but as a memory. "This isn't just a tattoo. It's a Ranger mark. Do you even know what that means?" The boys stayed quiet, shame flickering on their faces. Emily's mind drifted back, unbidden, to the place where that mark had been earned. Her family hadn't always lived here. Before this quiet town, before this ordinary school, they had lived on the edge of wilderness in Montana. Her father had been a forest ranger, a man who believed in teaching his daughter resilience instead of fear. From the time Emily could walk, she learned to hike trails, navigate storms, and defend herself against the wild. But it wasn't the forest alone that tested them. 2 years ago, when a wildfire swept across their land, her father had been among the rangers who fought day and night to hold it back. Emily was there too, not on the front lines, but helping, carrying supplies, staying awake for hours as flames painted the sky. When the fire claimed her father's life, the ranger community had honored him. And in a rare act of recognition, they gave Emily the mark, acknowledging her courage and her bond to their service. That mark wasn't about power. It was about survival, loyalty, and sacrifice. She looked back at the boys, her eyes glistening but unbroken. "This mark means I've seen things you can't imagine. I've watched fire destroy everything I loved. I've buried the strongest man I knew, and I survived. So when you laugh at me for being quiet, remember, silence doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes it means I've already fought battles you'll never understand. The bathroom was silent, only the faint drip of a faucet filling the air. The boys, who once thought themselves untouchable, now couldn't meet her gaze. Jake muttered, We didn't know." Emily rolled her sleeve back down, picked up her books, and said softly, "Exactly. You never know what someone carries, so maybe don't mock people for what you don't see." With that, she walked past them, and for the first time, none of them tried to stop her. Later, word spread quietly across the school, not because Emily bragged, but because the boys who mocked her couldn't forget the weight of her words. They had learned something that day. True strength doesn't come from loud voices or cruel jokes. It comes from scars, from courage, from surviving when life tries to break you. And Emily? She walked on, still quiet, still gentle, but no longer invisible. Her silence was no longer mistaken for weakness. It became a presence that demanded respect. So, the next time you see someone who seems fragile or shy, remember Emily's story. Remember that strength isn't always shown in fists or loud words. It often hides behind silence, scars, and stories untold. Because when the sleeve rolls up, you might just see a mark that changes everything.